Okay. Wasn't expecting this news, but whatever. So yeah, so for those who are unaware, even in fact I was unaware, apparently, there's going to be a possible Star Trek animated series on Nickelodeon coming soon. That's right, Nickelodeon is getting a Star Trek series. I'll take things I didn't expect to happen for 500, Alex. Because this, first off, why? I mean, I did know that there is talk of a adult Star Trek animated series that's going to be from the creators of, Rick and Morty, which, okay, it's supposed to be more like The Office, but whatever. But, Nickelodeon getting a Star Trek series, although, to be fair, it's not far from the realm of possibility, because I believe Viacom also has a big share in CBS, or CBS, they have a thing. I know CBS and Viacom have a thing. But anyway, now, I don't hate this idea. In fact, I think it's really cool that Star Trek is making a huge comeback, say what you want about Discovery, it's really, shined a beacon to really do a lot of Star Trek stuff. I mean, you could make the argument that, yeah, this really started more with the Abrams films, but Discovery kind of brought Star Trek back to, a TV show, brought it back to the small screen where it originally started. And there was a Star Trek animated series that had a good 75% of the cast there, of the original cast. So I'm not opposed to a Star Trek animated series. And for those wondering, no, I sincerely doubt it will be for, when they say younger audience, I'm pretty sure they don't mean it's going to be on Disney Junior. I am quite certain this will not be a Disney Junior show. I'd be shocked if it is, but I'm pretty certain that this is not going to be for a young child audience. This is going to probably be for, kids who, younger audience. I don't think they'll mean by kids, but more like an audience that is, in the age range of, teens. So, yeah. Now, there are several questions I have for this show. First off being, what timeline is this going to be? Is this going to be TOS timeline? Is it going to be TNG timeline? Is it going to be, in some timeline where they don't have to worry about, either showing up in TOS or TNG? Because there's a couple hundred years between TNG and, TOS. So there's a big timeline gap, which actually would be a cool, playground, because we don't really know about that. The really only thing we know about that era of the Star Trek universe is that that's where the start of the Federation Klingon Alliance occurred. And the Cardassian Wars. Oh yeah, there was also the Cardassian Wars, another war with the Romulans. Viable playground of, Star Trek lore. I mean, you could even do, it'd be kind of cool to see if this show could tackle, if it does go by TOS timeline, maybe it'd be kind of cool to see the Federation Romulan War, the Earth Romulan War, that really cemented the Federation as a force in the galaxy. That would be kind of cool. It was about but then again, there's only so much, because that was only a 4 or 5 year war, to be honest. I think it would be neat to see, that'd be kind of fun. I'm obvious that you're going to need a good voice cast for this. That's another question. Is this going to be an Enterprise? Is this going to focus on Enterprise? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure, and this would probably be the safe bet, is maybe just have a ship. Just because there's so many ships, you don't need to focus on the Enterprise. You can just have, in Discovery, where it's just another ship in the universe that is out in the Federation to, patrol the universe. And, yeah, have some fun, kooky adventures with them. But yeah, the other thing is, why Nickelodeon? Again, I understand that there's a thing between CBS and Viacom, but, it is weird that they didn't spring for Netflix. It's interesting. Or their own... CBS has their own streaming site. That's a interesting point, too. I do find it... now, again, I want to stress that I am not bashing this... I'm in no way bashing this idea. I'm very open to it. I'm just kind of this came out of nowhere. In fact, I didn't know about this until Dubs just sent me a message saying, hey, this is happening, you want to talk about it? And I was like, okay, I guess I'm talking about it. And here we are now. So, yeah, I think it's really cool that we're bringing, thanks again to Discovery, which, again, say what you will about that show, but at least it's giving us a Captain Picard show, it's, giving us this, it's giving us a new Star... CBS really wants to bring Star Trek back to the, back to the main light, which, I don't hate the Abrams movies, I don't hate, well, Into Darkness has some serious flaws, but Beyond is really good. Star Trek Beyond is probably my favorite of the trilogy. But I really like Star Trek. I'm more of a Star Wars guy, but I can dig Star Trek too. I can dig that as much. And yeah, with animation you can do so much. In the original animated series, yeah, it was like the animation was not up to par, but it did give, through animation, they were managed to do so many different things that you just couldn't do in live action. So you have that opportunity here if you give them the right animation studio. From what the article I read, it was just talking about the deal, so I don't know what studio they'll probably go to. I wouldn't mind if this followed more like the animation group that did Voltron. I wouldn't be opposed to that. It'd probably be... Because I imagine this show would probably be a mixture of 2D and CGI, with the ship being... and the vehicles being CGI, and the crew and everything else being 2D drawn, or 2D animated. So that would be the big thing, is that these characters... And again, I would not be opposed if this didn't focus on... Well, if it was going to focus on an Enterprise team, maybe like... I don't know... Well, we've already done enough of the Enterprises, so maybe in another different ship, like a science ship or a deep space ship or something like that. I wouldn't even be opposed if you did like a DS9 thing. I mean, Star Wars Resistance is kind of doing that right now with with just focusing on the Colossus, and a lot of the episodes and adventures kind of feel like these episodic stories that kind of feel like DS9. So I wouldn't be opposed to a DS9 type show if we just focused on like a starbase. I wouldn't be opposed to that either. Just don't make it too kiddish, okay? I know this is the channel that is ruled by the SpongeBob. So yeah, but but you got to remember, this is also the channel that gave us Invader Zim and gave us Rocco and gave us Danny Phantom and My Life as a Teenage Robot and Ninja Turtles. So they have a precance for action and doing a little more darker stuff. So Nickelodeon does like to pull the boundaries at times. I mean, this regime change, granted, has kind of left a lot of their animated films up in the air, which I'm hoping they come back down so we can watch them. So I'm tentative, is what I'm trying to say. I'm tentative because I'm curious to see where this could all end and where this could all go. But I am hopeful. Don't get me wrong, I am hopeful for this type of show. I'm very interested to see where you could go with this, because there's so many possibilities with Star Trek. There's so many different kinds of possibilities and areas you could go, so many different races you could focus on, and even bring in new alien races. But there's also so many questions. It's like in Batman Forever. It just raises too many questions. But would I be opposed to a Nickelodeon Star Trek show? No, I would not be opposed to it. Am I a little concerned because Nickelodeon, sometimes their animation department is found wanting? Yeah, that is true. And I'm also worried because this show has to compete with The Sponge. And when you go against The Sponge, you lose. Unless, well, The Loud House is kind of taking the Loud House has been kind of, at ratings war with The Sponge. So, yeah. And say what you want, even at the end where it had a really crappy time zone, the 2012 cartoon really stuck out there. The 2012 TMNT cartoon, I apologize, I should have mentioned that, really stuck out there in terms of ratings. So, yeah. And don't sleep on the Star Trek fandom. So, that's all I'm saying. Don't sleep on them because they will give you those ratings. Anyway, So that's pretty much my thoughts, guys, on the whole Star Trek coming to Nickelodeon thing. Possibly. This deal hasn't been... They said this deal is close to being complete, but it could easily fall through at the same time. So you guys tell me in the comments below, Universe, what do you guys think of a Star Trek animated show? Are you guys excited? Are you guys not? What kind of timeline would you want it to see? Do you want to see it in the Federation? Or maybe you want to see a Klingon show? I don't know. Just comment below, let us know. And once again, if you're new here, remember to Hulk smash that subscribe button and be part of Earth's Mighty Subscribers. I'm DPZ. I'm really interested to see what you guys have to say out there for my fellow Trekkies out there, and we will see you right here once more in the universe. Engage.